Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we have the top 5 potential destinations for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson in 2023. This comes on the heels of a report that the New York Jets plan to pursue Lamar this offseason. We'll break it all down coming up in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, though, if you want to see Lamar stay in town and be the Ravens quarterback for a very long time, then here's what I need you to do. I need you to go ahead and like today's video if you want Lamar to be that guy to lead this franchise forever. If you are feeling that way, if you're a Lamar fan, if you believe in what Lamar brings to the table, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's do what we can to show that Lamar is loved around here, and we will get started with today's show. So a report that came out within the last couple of hours from Connor Hughes of SNY, that's the regional sports network in New York, one of them up there. He is reporting that the Jets plan to pursue Lamar Jackson this offseason. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors involved before the Jets could potentially bring him in, but let's see what Connor had to say. He says if he is made available, Lamar, and the Ravens are willing to listen to offers, the Jets will do everything they can to position themselves to make a very compelling offer for Lamar Jackson. The Jets have a team that they believe is already complete and ready to compete. They are a quarterback away, and a quarterback is made available like Lamar Jackson, they will pay that pretty penny. So what's different now about this situation, comparably speaking to this past offseason when the Ravens were in that back and forth with Lamar in contract negotiations, is that now Lamar has leverage as he is set to become a free agent. And obviously there's a couple things that could happen. He could be an actual free agent on the open market. He could be franchise tagged. He could get a long-term deal, or he could be franchise tagged and traded. No matter what, if you're the Ravens, you have to at least franchise tag Lamar Jackson. Now, if he doesn't want to be there and demands a trade, then you send him off that way. But you have to at least get something out of Lamar Jackson. For me, the way I look at it, it's simple as this. You ask Lamar, do you want to be here or not? And if he's committed to being here, then you pay him whatever it takes to keep him around and then go from there. The money that is out there is not cheap for quarterbacks these days. Aaron Rodgers, your highest paid QB at $50.27 million. I would expect that Lamar is going to slide in somewhere between Aaron and Kyler Murray, as if you're Lamar Jackson, you can say to yourself, I'm definitely better than Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson. Aaron Rodgers, of course, one of the greats of all time, a Super Bowl champion, multiple MVPs. Maybe you don't quite get the Aaron Rodgers money, but you at least should get more than what Kyler and Deshaun Watson got. The other factor, of course, is the guaranteed money, which we've talked about a lot on this program. So, where will Lamar Jackson play next season? Will it be for the Ravens? If you think it will, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. While the ad is playing, get your votes in. Tell me Y for yes, in for no, if Lamar Jackson will play for the Ravens next season. So now we transition. Let's look at the top 5 possible destinations for Lamar. And our friends at Ebony Bird, the Fansided Ravens site, put this list together, and we'll go through kind of what they had to say and react to it, beginning with the New York Jets, who we just mentioned. The team expected to pursue Lamar Jackson from that report that we told you earlier. Here's the breakdown of the possibility of Lamar in New York. But what makes Lamar Jackson such an intriguing option isn't that just the need at quarterback. It's that quarterback might be one of the only things the Jets need to truly compete. New York was on the verge of making the playoffs this season in spite of horrendous and inconsistent quarterback play from Wilson and the backup. So with that, they believe that they are that close, and they're in a different position than they were a year ago, where the Jets couldn't necessarily make a move for a guy like Deshaun Watson because they needed all that draft capital. Now the fact that they feel that they're a quarterback away, this could, if the Ravens are looking to make a trade, be their best potential return on investment of trade value they could get is a team like the Jets. Number 4 on the list is the New Orleans Saints. And the New Orleans Saints have really struggled to find their next quarterback since Drew Brees retired. And here is what Williams had to say about this idea. If there's something that the Saints can be counted on for under the current front office regime, it's being aggressive. This group has never been shy about moving up in the draft, spending where they deem necessary, and so on. New Orleans is the exact type of team that would be willing to make a move for a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber, especially given their quarterback need. A big quarterback need for sure in New Orleans, as it has just been a disaster. Even Drew Brees, when he was finishing up his time with the Saints, did not play that well towards the end of his career. So we'll see if they can make a move. And remember, their coaching staff, Dennis Allen and company, were not too hot this year. So who knows? We'll see if the Saints could be that team. Who will be the Ravens quarterback in 2023? We have a couple more teams and trade scenarios that could result in a veteran coming into town. Or could they draft somebody potentially? Or is Lamar still that guy? Do they potentially go with Tyler Huntley as the guy next year? If you had to make your best guess right now on this 10th day of January in the year of our Lord 2023, who would be the Ravens starting quarterback next year? Let me know in the comment section. Predict it right now. Who starts week 1 for the Ravens in 2023? Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. But $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. The lines right now show the Ravens is about a 7-point underdog this week against Cincinnati. The over-under at 43.5. And producer Sam and I were talking before the show that if Lamar plays, I would expect that line to change and that over-under probably to go up. So here's your chance to beat the books. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. Back to the list. This might be the biggest surprise of a team on this list in possible destinations for the Ravens star quarterback, the Minnesota Vikings, possibly changing the purple out. And obviously the Vikings have had a really good year. Kirk Cousins has been solid, and they have a plethora of talent there. But would they want Lamar Jackson? Here's this from Cody Williams. Watching Cousins in Week 17 against Green Bay, however, there wasn't a person alive who felt confident in him. Yes, he wasn't doing any favors behind a patchwork offensive line that was getting blown up routinely against the Packers. But even then, it felt as if Cousins being under center took away any chance of winning a crucial game from the moment he made his first throw. The numbers this year from Kirk Cousins, you can see he had 31 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in 17 games played. If the Ravens were to do a trade to send Lamar to Minnesota, I would bet Kirk Cousins would be coming to Baltimore, coming back to the DMV. Remember, he was the longtime quarterback for the Commanders as well. So that's a situation where, the Saints and Jets, it's all about draft capital. In that case, you get Cousins to be your guy. I know that doesn't get people too excited by any means, but nonetheless, I think that's realistically what you'd be talking about in that type of trade scenario if you were to work with Minnesota. Number 2 on our list is the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders, it's going to be a fascinating offseason with the Raiders. You look at what they have to do when it comes to Josh Jacobs. Are they going to keep him or not? What about Darren Waller? Then there's Devontae Adams, who they spent all that money on this past offseason. This team's got a lot of talent, but they have a very incompetent head coach in Josh McDaniels who nobody believes in. What about the idea of Lamar and Las Vegas? Here's what Cody said. Pairing Jackson with Adams, Waller, and potentially Josh Jacobs, depending on what happens with him this offseason, could be something special. It would offer McDaniels more flexibility and give the Raiders a true shot at going for it. And even if the head coach fails, the fact of the matter is they would still have a young franchise quarterback with higher upside than Carr. And I think Raider fans would be thrilled. They'd be excited about what Lamar would bring to the table potentially in Vegas. I think it's another situation, too. If you make this trade, then Derek Carr probably comes with, and he's your starting quarterback next year. Derek Carr left a lot to be desired this year, to be quite honest. With all those weapons there, he still threw 14 interceptions and only had 24 touchdowns, less than 61% completion percentage. And, I mean, let's be frank with you, folks. The Ravens do not have the weapons that the Raiders have. And you bring Derek Carr in to Baltimore, I don't feel good about that at all. But I think that's what would happen if you made a trade with Vegas. You probably have to take Derek Carr, too. Subscribe to the channel daily. Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, post-game recaps, game previews, and more. And for the second time ever here on the channel, we have a watch party coming up on Sunday. Sunday Night Football, Ravens and Bengals wild card game. We are going to be live. We'll get started about 30 minutes before kickoff, and we're going to have a good time. If you've never been a part of our watch parties before, you got to be here with us. This is going to be like something you've never seen before. We might have a couple drinks on hand, play some games, have a good time, react to the game in real time. Join us. It is going to be a dandy. You'll want to be here. Coming up on Sunday night, Ravens and Bengals live right here on the channel. Join us, and we'll see you then. So the number one team on the possible destinations for Lamar next year is the Baltimore Ravens. I think at the end of the day, the Ravens will find a way to keep Lamar. I can't sit here today and tell you that I know for certain they're going to get a long-term deal done. But if he has to play on the franchise tag or something, whatever it may be, I would still be shocked if Lamar is not back in Baltimore next year. Lamar has been a great soldier throughout all this. He didn't miss any of training camp. He didn't do any holdouts or anything. He has been all about this organization of the Baltimore Ravens. And unless they piss him off or things take quite the downturn here over the next few weeks, I don't see any reason why that the Ravens won't do whatever it takes to keep him around. I think he'll be back next year, even if it has to be the franchise tag. And it might be uncomfortable to do that franchise tag, but unless Lamar just simply says, I don't want to be here, I think he's back next year. So we'll see. What do you think? Get your votes in. What happens to Lamar this offseason? Is it a franchise tag? Is it a trade? Is it a contract extension? And at the end of the day, in a perfect world, he gets the contract extension and Roquan Smith gets the contract extension. Can that happen? That remains to be seen. Let me know. Get your votes in the comments section what you think will go down. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. Big week here on the channel. You want to stay put. We'll see you next time here on Ravens Rundown.